Alright guys, today we got a pretty cool video. I've had a lot of people ask me what's my favorite ratchet and why. So I thought, hey, I'll shoot a video and that way I can share it with all you guys. Today we're going to be focusing on just the big three ratchets. That's right guys, we're going to take a look at the Snap-on, we're going to take a look at the Matco, and we're going to take a look at the Mac, and we're going to compare them side by side, and I'm going to show you which ones I like best and for what reasons. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so I've had a lot of people ask me in comments and other videos, what is your favorite ratchet and why? Well, the simple answer is my favorite ratchet is a locking flex head. And the reason why, mainly because I just don't like a regular flex head. It seems like when you're putting torque on a regular flex head and it's unlocked and you're in a place, it kind of wants to wiggle up and down. I just don't like that. I personally prefer a locking flex head comfort grip if we're going to be specific. As far as the brands go, it's kind of like asking somebody to pick their favorite child. Each one of them has features that I like and features that I don't like. So in this video today, we're just going to take a look at the big three, which is Snap-on, Matco, and the new Mac Axis. So before I get started in this video, I want to be very clear. I have a lot of ratchets by a lot of different brands, and there's a lot of great brands of ratchets out there. From Gear Wrench to Capri to even the Icon from Harbor Freight's a good ratchet. I personally prefer to use tool truck ratchets. They have a different feel, they have a different quality to them, and personally, that's what I prefer. Now I do own a lot of ratchets, and I do have a lot of different kind of ratchets, and I have a lot of tool truck ratchets. So we're just going to kind of run over some of the things that I like and some of the things that I don't like about each brand of ratchets. It's kind of like if somebody asks you to pick your favorite child and you've got multiple children, it's kind of hard to decide which one you like better, because this one may do his homework without asking, this one may be perfect with doing chores, and you may have one that's kind of good all the way around. So just let you guys kind of take your pick on which one you feel like fits the needs for you better. So in this video, we're going to be looking, like I say, with the Snap-on, the Matco, and the Mac. We'll go over the differences in the way the locking mechanisms work, as well as the tooth count and also the price. One of the big things that comes to me when looking at a ratchet is the head size and the diameter and the thickness of the head. We'll also cover that in this video, and I'll explain to you which ratchets I prefer to use on a daily basis. So let's get into it, and we'll start with the Matco. Alright, as you guys know, I own, or the ones that have followed my channel for a while know that I own a lot of Snap-on ratchets. And recently I started using the Matco ratchets, and I'm going to kind of cover that in this video and why. The first reason why I like the Matco ratchet better than the Snap-on ratchets is the locking mechanisms. The Snap-on, you pull it back and you got it this way and it's floppy. You put it this way and it's locked. This seems to get in the way at certain times. That's the negative that I have with the snap-on ratchet. The Matco ratchet, the head thickness here is what won me over on it. We was doing some jobs where we was in a pretty tight space, and the head being shallower here is what sold me on them. I do like the fact that it is recessed, that you can unlock it and lock it, and it's recessed, it's not in the way. I've become a fan of this ratchet. I really like the grip on it. It fits my hand well. I like the way it feels. And to be honest with you, this ratchet, model number BFR128LFM, is my go-to ratchet. This is the first ratchet I grab every day for any job. It is my favorite ratchet. So that's the kind of the pros that I have with the Matco. And we'll look at the snap-on. The cons I have is the lock on it. I'm not really a big fan of the lock, and it does have a big, thick, beefy head on it, which sometimes it's good for, I guess, maybe applying more torque. I would assume this one would take more torque than the Matco, but at the end of the day, you're still using a 3/8 ratchet. Why do you need that much torque on a 3/8 ratchet? And recently, I have become a fan of the Mac ratchet. As you can see, all these other ratchets are 12 and 13 inches long. The Mac ratchet is an 18-inch ratchet. I do like the thinness of the head here, and we will do a side-by-side in just a minute looking at all of these together. But I like the thin head, and I personally like the lock on this one. You mash the button, it releases it inside there, and it's locked again. Now for you guys that do not like a flex head ratchet that will not be unlocked, you are not going to like this ratchet. Me personally, I always use it in a locked position so it don't bother me. But I know a lot of guys like it to be floppy at certain times and locked at certain times. And if you go with Mac, you will have to buy two different ratchets because their non-locking flex head, of course, doesn't lock. But their locking flex head, you do have to mash the button, move it the position you want, and it locks and it stays there. There's no completely unlocked position for it unless you mash the button. So you guys that like that, you're not going to like the locking flex head by Mac because it's not an option. I did bring out another snap-on ratchet so you could see the comfort grip of it. This was actually one of the last ratchets that I purchased from Snap-on before kind of moving on to the Matco ratchet, and it does have the quick release function. I just got it here just so you guys can see how the comfort grip is on it compared to the others, and we'll look at those side by side in just a second. So let's start with all three ratchets. Like I say, the Snap-on model that I'm using here is a FX80. That's probably one of the most popular locking flex head snap-on ratchets that's made by Snap-on. I think they've actually come out with a newer version where they've added an A on the end of the ratchet. But this ratchet is a 80 tooth, and the retail value of this ratchet is around $159. The Matco ratchet is an 88 tooth. The retail value it is around $168, and it's a 13-inch ratchet. The Snap-on's a 12-inch ratchet, and the Mac ratchet is a 90-tooth ratchet, and it is 18 inches overall length. So let's look at some of the head measurements on it. Like I say, it's pretty small details, but it's things that will matter. You know, if you're looking for a ratchet that's going to get you in a tight space. We'll start out with the Snap-on. As you can see, it's 14.59 millimeters thickness. The Matco is 12.2 millimeters thick. And lastly, the Mac is 15.8 millimeters thick. And we'll look across the head of these ratchets real quickly and show you guys what that looks like. The Snap-on is 30.17. The The Matco is 31.00. And lastly, the Mac is 29.8. Like I say, I got the Matco strictly because of the head design. I was helping Jay Young work on a tractor up there one day, and the thin head of this allowed us to get in there and use it where I couldn't with the snap-on. It just wouldn't fit. So, you know, that's kind of what turned me on to Matco ratchets to start with, and I did like the grip that was on it. But anyway, guys, that's all three ratchets side by side, and that way you can kind of take your pick on which ones you like and which ones you don't like. And there is the snap-on comfort grip in the mix. As far as tooth count, you can see, I'll try to get it where you guys can hear it. Like I say, the snap-on is an 80 tooth. It's a really fine ratchet. The Matco is a 90 tooth. The Matco is probably the Mac ratchet, sorry, is probably the smoothest of all three of them. And then here's the Matco, and this one has had an extensive amount of use on it, and it is an 88 tooth. The Mac is by far the smoothest as far as the feeling of the ratchet. It's an extremely smooth ratchet. I like this ratchet. It is actually my newest ratchet of all of them. I've become a fan of it. Like I say, the main drawback that I have is if you want it to be floppy, it ain't gonna be floppy. And for me, that's a perfect win-win, but for you guys, it may not be. But anyway, that's kind of my rundown, the pros and cons I have of each ratchet and why I like each ratchet or not. So hopefully this makes things a little easier on you. One thing I do want to point out on the Matco ratchet, if you get them, when you first buy them, they are pretty tough to switch direction or switch locking and unlocking. After just a little bit of use, they become really easy to do. And you do have to pay attention if you're reaching up in a tight spot to flip directions, that you are on the reverse and not the unlock, because I've done that before. So that's something you just have to pay attention when you use it. Like I say, retail price on these, the snap-on is around $159. The locking snap-on with the quick release is approximately $179. The Matco is $168, and the Mac ratchet is about $189. Anyway, guys, that's my video today. Hopefully you guys liked it. If you do, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Check the links down in the description. We got some cool tools, discount codes, all that good stuff. And click that subscribe button. It's totally free. It don't cost you guys a dime. Hopefully y'all have a great week, and we will catch y'all next time. See ya.